Welcome to Secrets from the Saddle podcast. I'm Sylvie, your host, fellow cyclist, bike club founder, cycling coach, bike race junkie, just truly super passionate about cycling. My journey with cycling started 20 years ago when I opened a spin studio, started a women's race team, and founded a women's only cycling club called Cycle Fit Chicks. I'm super thrilled to reveal all aspects that make the world of cycling operate. I'm so excited to be able to bring you interesting people from around the world, pro cyclists, recreational cyclists, coaches, event organizers, bike shop owners, everything and everyone you need to know or ever wondered about when it comes to cycling. I know you'll enjoy this episode. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Secrets from the Saddle, All Things Cycling Podcast with your host, Sylvie here for Friday's Late Coach's Corner. I totally apologize, but remember back when I was mentioning that I dropped down to 2 podcasts because I started this job? Well, this job has just taken on a whole life of its own. Not that I need to work outside of it, but it's consuming a lot of my weekdays, and weekends are dedicated to football and the kids, and I try not to work, but it has left me with not a whole lot of time. And my episode's going to fall on the wayside a couple times, but I'm always going to be on the Monday. That episode will always happen. But I want to share with you a couple other things that have been occupying my attention that just happened last week, actually. So, if I've been on a couple podcasts, not for cycling related stuff, but other life related things. And one of my friends, Irina, she asked me to be on her podcast with regards to solo parenting. And yes, I have been a solo parent. It's been 12 years since I was a solo parent because I remarried my amazing husband, had 2 more kids, and but I was a solo parent for 3 to 4 years after my first marriage to my oldest daughter's father. So her podcast is called Single Parent Success Stories, which is a totally positive and amazing title. So she approached me about 2 weeks ago about this collaboration to write a chapter in a book about single parenting. Isn't that cool? It is totally cool. And you know what the deadline is for that? October 11th. I'm like, okay, well, I'm totally into that because I love to share my story and how it worked out for me. And I was like, whoa, okay. So, but the thing is that she's collaborating with another woman who is actually a publisher, and she has published other similar type books with collaborations of like anywhere from 12 to 25 people who each wrote a chapter on the said subject. And she collaborates everything and coordinates everything, Amazon sales, the promotion, and we pay a fee to be in the book. And I was like, wow, this is a totally cool opportunity. I've thought about books and things like that, right? But you're always like, oh my God, how could I ever? And so I totally jumped on the opportunity. So I have started, like I said, this deadline for this chapter. There's a checklist of things I need to provide. One is a bio, one's a picture, one's the chapter. So I've been sitting and kind of voice recording my thoughts and starting it with that. So that is totally cool. And I'm going to keep you guys posted on that. Now, move it away from what I've been up to. I want to talk about goal setting. I always talk about goal setting. I mention it, I'm sure, a ton, but with regards to goal setting for 2023, this is October, it's time to do it, not, the week before January. But it's going to be about your cycling goals and training. Now, there's other things that, are in that realm of goal setting or talking about, just putting on paper like what you'd like to improve. So other things are like for your relationships, money, health, career. But we're going to talk about cycling, events, and training because that's super important, right? And of course, it ties into everything else because you're going to need money for these. You're going to need to ask for time off from your career. You're going to have to ask for support or or maybe help from your spouse or partner or family. But the really cool thing is that I know I've mentioned the 20-week, I'm going to call it my 20-week winter online training program because essentially that's what it is. I'm helping people or helping women structure their training. And so I'm giving them a way to join an already structured training plan and program so that there is no what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? How do I get better? Why do I suck in Swift? Like these kind of questions. And so I started this week. No, don't stress. You can join this anytime. The videos are totally recorded and you have access to them when you join. It's a monthly membership. It is way cheaper than the program price that I used to charge for 16 weeks. So this will basically go from October to March for sure, April, depending on what it's like. And the way I've worked it out is that it's 3 training sessions. Now, you might be saying, oh my God, I can't train 3 times. That's totally fine. If you can't train 3 times, this program is wrapped around one skills training session, which is Thursday night. And if you're not in the same hemisphere as me, on the eastern seaboard of Canada, then you can still join. You can get the recordings and I will set, and if that's the case, and you are not, say, like you're in, Pacific can still join because it would just be in the middle of the afternoon. But say you're like in Australia, it would be 6 a.m, or maybe you're somewhere like the UK, which would literally be at midnight. I will dedicate a monthly session with you to go over questions. So you'll still get the recordings and the ability to join the other sessions, but I will set aside for the same price a weekly training session with you at your proper time to go over questions and skills for you. So the cool thing is that we have like over 10 people who have registered. It's so amazing. I love this program because I just go back to basics. That's what it's about, going back to basics. But a lot of people don't realize what basics are in cycling. And I get these questions like cycling skills. We're not doing cycling skills. I mean, like, what is your definition of a cycling skill? Because there's so many cycling skills to work on if you want to get better. Now, hill climbing, of course, descending, cornering at fast speeds, sprinting, out of the saddle, in the saddle, braking, group riding. Like there's a plethora of cycling skills, but there's certain ones that you can't really train until you're inside because, when you're trying to train with other people, everybody's got different fitness levels. You've got the terrain, you've got the weather you have to deal with. Inside is so much better. So you know, it's just an easier way to train and get the point across as what to do, because you don't have to worry about being on a hill. And I don't have to worry about following you and like if you're faster, you know what I mean? So this program, and I still have spots, like I said, there's no limit. However, if you want to get 50% off October, while I help you get set up at home. So by November, we're ready to roll. At the end of October, we're going to set up some like little basic meetups. And so to get 50% off, the deadline is October 16th. Now, you're going to need to text the word cycling to 819-809-0999 to get your text message, and the text message will give you the link to more details of the program, and then you can decide from there if that's for you. So what I've heard right now is women are coming because it's structured, it's in the calendar. They've come off a season, maybe it's their first, maybe it's their fifth, and they want to learn how to get better. And there's a social aspect too. So, especially if you're new to Swift and training, this is for you. Or this program could be for you, because it's daunting getting onto Swift, and you're on Swift and you're like, okay, what do I do now? And I join all these groups with friends, and you're like, oh my God, I'm dying. So, what if you were to train at your capacity, get pushed out of your comfort zone at least once or a couple times a month, and you work on your endurance base building and your skills and gear management, mind you. You're going to have to use your gears a lot in Swift if you want to do it properly. And learning that is a whole different ball game, because outside you don't really typically maybe use your gears so much. We're going to be using them a lot inside. Now, so don't forget, you have only up to Sunday, October 16th to get 50% off. Text the word cycling to 819-809-0999. And for those who miss it, you could totally join anytime. And so what I'm offering is 4 hours of weekly training. That's really all you need, 4 to 6 hours. You can add extra stuff on your own time. Maybe that amount of time is not for you right now. Maybe you're going to do that in January and you just start with the skills. It's totally cool. It's not mandatory. Thursday night is. So let's move on to goal setting for 2023 and training. So we talked a ton about training. I highly, highly recommend, if you're listening to this podcast, once we're done, Google Joe Friel as part of my podcast. There's 4 podcasts with him. 3 of them are about the aging athlete and training. So if you're like me and you're in your 50s, you're going to want to start looking at your training differently. It wasn't until I picked up his book, Fast After 50, Over 50, that I truly started understanding, and also from my experience, getting out and doing harder efforts and training, that, the realization of recovery is so much more prevalent and important. And he talks about different ways to train as an aging athlete to keep your performance level high. So go and check him out. And there's another one with Jim Rutberg about Ride Inside. Pick up that book. It's amazing. And because I picked up that book before I started riding inside on Swift, and a lot of it made sense. There's some things in there you don't realize as you get inside. You can develop a whole lot of bad habits riding on your trainer if you don't know what you're doing. If you think I'm just going to go and I'm just going to ride my trainer, I'm never going to change a gear, and you develop bad posture, and you get slower because if you're not watching your cadence and your speed, then all you're going to do is just sit there and turn the pedals at like 60 RPM. And that is not going to make you fast, my friends. All right. So let's talk about goal setting. It is super important to sit down with yourself and map out kind of what you'd like to achieve over the winter. And maybe you have some events lined up for next year to put them on the calendar. Sit down with yourself, sit down with your partner and say, what is achievable for me right now based on where I am in my life, with my kids, with my partner, with my work, and see if it's doable. Because, I have my glazy eyes and looking at all these events that some people are attending every weekend. I mean, you can't do that to your body, first of all. So you got to pick and choose. You got to pick and choose which ones you're going to do. And if they're longer 100K events, these will be, anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, right, on your bike. And are you ready for that? Have you finished the season riding 100K or spending that much time on your bike? Have you put a lot of them back to back? Do you have travel in there with family? Have you given yourself enough recovery time? So all these things are pretty important to consider. And that's one of the things that I work with my group, is that I'm coaching them, but I want to make sure that I'm coaching them properly, because I have a list of my, the events that I really would like to do. And, maybe I can't fit them all in next year, to be realistic on my body, because this year is a bit of an eye-opener when it comes to back-to-back events and being able to recover properly. So I know I'm not 30 anymore, and so some of us have to come to that realization, you know what I'm saying? So taking a really deep look, and then you're like, okay, what kind of events are these? What do I need to do to train? Are they kind of like from, say, April to, starting in April, are they going to be shorter distance, moving to longer distance over the summer? Or are you going to start out with a 100K ride event? Are they all going to be 100K? Is one of them going to be gravel? One of them going to be road? One of them going to be mountain bike? So it's important to assess what you're doing and where, your training is. So I'll give you an example. Now, my first event is going to be Barrie-Roubaix. Now, if you've been listening, I attended that event this year and I totally freaking fell in love. So if you're into attending this event with me or attending this event, let me know. We'll hang out together. So Barrie-Roubaix. So one thing, 100K. And I know what it's like. It's basically a lot of rollers, maybe a couple longer climbs, nothing too epic that I found was, kind of over the top. Because I did train for that event, and I was ready for it. And it was in March. I started riding 100K every second weekend. As of January on Swift, once a month, and then I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. I can do this once every 2 weeks. And so I had a couple of those 100K long rides. Sorry, I got a drink. My throat is so sore, so dry. 100Ks under my belt before I attended. I would not have done that if I had not prepared myself. I'm not one of those people that's going to go, okay, like I'll figure it out. I'll just go attend and break my body in March and get injured and like ruin my season. So I was already prepared for that. And so I am going to be preparing for that again. And I probably will start earlier because I did a fair amount of 100Ks during the summer, and they were events. So I'm going to keep my riding up to par. And what I'm going to be working on for my skills is the speed part, right? It's one thing to ride 100K and have it take you 8 hours, let's say, even if it is gravel, to working on your strength, power, and speed and doing it in 6 hours. I actually did it in 5 hours. So, and that was at a moderate pace. It was also like -5 and it had snowed the night before. So I know that I can do that probably in 4.5 hours with the proper strength training and the proper bike. So that's that. So when I look at that event, that's in April. Remember, you can tend with me. I'm going to be putting it out there. That is part of my winter training plan, is to be riding. And I'm going to encourage my clients in my program to train with me. I'm obviously not going to have them start off where I'm at, but having everybody work out, because I honestly want to bring more people there. And then the next big one is the Ride to Conquer Cancer. And you guys heard about that one too. It was in Toronto. It's a 2-day race. It's 100K one day and 120 the next. So 220. And this is a fundraiser. So I'm also going to be talking to you about donations. Just an FYI. If you're a woman, and it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you can attend, or even not, we are going to be building one of the largest women's only charity teams for this event. And it's, don't quote me, but I think it's June 12th. But it's got to be a Saturday weekend. So it's something around there. Now, when I did that this year, I nearly died of fatigue after, and it's because I had COVID in May, but it was brutal. Like, because I was supposed to do another event, 150K in 2 weeks after that, and I had to cancel. So, but this is going to be one of those events, and I know that I don't have to ride like a fiend on this one. It's going to be with the team, so it's going to be casual. It's going to be fun. So I know that I'm not going to be overly exerting myself, especially if I prepared myself for 100K leading up to that. So you see how looking at these events, you kind of put together what you're going to do. Of course, in and amongst all this is refining your skills, getting better at them, okay? Remembering them. You know, like for me, these skills development, I come back and I practice and practice. I've been doing this since 2005. Pros always practice the skills, and that's like just getting better at them. So, gear management, pedal stroke efficiency, standing, seated, hill climbing, all these things. And then, of course, you have to have your intensity. You have to do intervals if you want to get faster. There's no way about it, because skills development is not part of high intensity. You learn the skills, then you start applying them. And it's the same with your endurance riding on the weekends, like your weekend rides. So, and then essentially, if you do the 3 workouts, it'll give you 4 hours. And I say, like, you don't need to do any more than 6 hours a week. So you can throw another one like maybe Sunday morning, or maybe like a Monday morning. But also, I have also included strength training in there for my clients. That's another huge one. You cannot build muscle on your upper body without strength training. And using and having a strong core and arms is a huge advantage in your performance. So that's another thing. Adding 3 workouts of 30 minutes a workout a week, or even 2, to work on building muscle. Because we know the older we get, the faster we lose it. And if you're not on your protein and watching that, then you lose it even more. So, when you see those skinny cyclists, you don't want to be one of those. Trust me. So that's kind of like, I don't have a list. It's kind of looking forward. So this is what I want to put out there to you. And nobody's ever taken me up on it. I don't know why. But if you want, so here is it. Send me your goals. Send them to me by next Friday's episode. So next Friday will be October. Where are we? What are we? Oh, October 14th. So send me your goals on Instagram you can either through my personal account or through the podcast account, and let me know what your goals are. I'm going to pick a winner out of that, and you're going to win 1 hour coaching with me. So you can ask any questions. I can look at your plan, give you some advice, but you've got to send me your plan, your goals. It could be 1, it could be 10. All right. And I'll pick a winner, and I'll announce it on Friday, and we'll set up a schedule where I can help you figure it out. Help you set it up properly right now, so you don't overwhelm and overdo it, and continue enjoying life, because I see these women on their bikes inside all the time, and life is passing them by. So with that, I'm going to leave you now. And so don't forget, sit down, write your goals, copy and paste it in a message to me on Instagram, on my account, or through the podcast account, and I will pick a winner next Friday, and we'll set up a little training session. And also, don't forget, if you want to join my 20-week winter online cycling skills program, and you want 50% off, is $49 a month, which is dirt cheap if you've ever gotten a coach. You get 50% off for the first month. You text the message cycling to 819-809-0999. And I look forward to seeing you and training with you and helping you along with your goals. And maybe we can even join each other at an event, which would just be super fun. So with that, have an amazing day. Don't forget to ride your bike and enjoy the beautiful colors of the trees. They're absolutely amazing. And I have to tell you, and about Monday's episode. So I interviewed Lakeisha Hamilton, who is the owner of Cycling Out Loud Women's Apparel. She was amazing to talk to, but she has a really amazing special for you guys. Now you have to listen to the end to get the details, and but when you go and you listen to her and then you go check out her website, and she has really taken it on her to design some exceptionally cool skin suits for women. And she's based in the United States, which is even amazing. And her prices are amazing. I was like, amazing. And the cool thing about it is she has bundles, which you can get a hat, a kit, and socks for under $100, which like hands down, you can't get that anywhere. And she's taken it really upon her to make it top quality products. So we really want to encourage you to listen to that episode and get the special that we have for you. It's just for our listeners. So for you to go shopping, and it's a great time to buy maybe some Christmas gifts. I hate to say Christmas before Halloween, but anyways, I just want to share that with you. So enjoy it and have an amazing Thanksgiving, you guys. You're so special. I can't thank you enough for being the loyal listeners that you are. So have a great one. Bye. Thank you so much for spending this time with me on the Secrets from the Saddle podcast, learning more about citing people, places, and things that make cycling such an exciting sport. I am so glad you stopped by today. Please leave me a review if you feel so moved to do so. I would love to hear your feedback. And if you could take 1 second to share this episode with someone you think would enjoy it, I would be forever grateful. Also, if you could please leave me a review if you feel so moved by going to iTunes and leaving me an honest thought and an honest comment, telling me what you think, and most importantly, tell me what you'd like to hear more of. It would really help me to bring more great, inspiring cycling stories to you. Until then, have an amazing day. Make sure you ride your bike. And don't forget to visit my YouTube channel if you'd like to see the full version of this podcast live.